Hello and a very good morning. You're watching Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's start straight away with the headlines this morning. A final decision on who will be Kerala's new Chief Minister likely today. Two contenders are V.S. Achyutanandan and Pinarayi Vijayan. Oman Chandi to submit his resignation today. Jayalalitha calls legislature party meet to set stage for her taking charge as Chief Minister once again. Assam Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi to quit after dismal Congress showing. Interpol issues red corner notice against Pakistan-based handler of Jaish terrorists in Pathankot attack. Indian Army rejects Pakistan's allegation of insider role in the attack. Cyclonic storm Roanu leaves destruction behind in Nellore in Andhra Pradesh. Heavy rains predicted in Odisha in the next 48 hours. An investigation begins into the disappearance of an Egypt Air passenger jet with 66 people on board over the Mediterranean. Egypt says plane most likely brought down by a terrorist act. Well, the 5 state elections are now over, and in the end, the BJP has emerged as the big gainer in at least 3 states. While in Assam, the party scripted history by storming to power for the first time. The icing on the cake was the party opening its account in Kerala, the state where the party had no ground of its own. And for the Congress, the trend of losing states since the 2014 Lok Sabha elections continued. It lost both Kerala and Assam by huge margins. A consolation, though, was its win in Puducherry. From a sweeping victory in Assam to opening its account in Kerala and winning 3 seats in West Bengal, the BJP emerged as the big gainer on Thursday when votes of the 5 state elections were counted. This was a much-needed victory for the BJP after back-to-back defeats in Bihar and Delhi last year. Also, it couldn't have come at a better time for the party, which is about to complete 2 years in office in just about a week's time. The Congress, on the other hand, continued to lose electoral ground, losing 2 more states where it was in power. In Assam, the BJP ended the 15-year rule of incumbent Tarun Gogoi, while down south in Kerala, a scandal-tainted coalition government led by Oman Chandi lost to the left. The party, however, picked up a consolation prize of sorts in Puducherry by defeating the regional AINRC. The other clear winners were Mamata Banerjee and Jayalalitha, who in their own ways created history. While Mamata bettered her 2011 performance, staking claim on 211 of the 294 seats, the AIADMK chief retained power for the second consecutive term, the first time since 1984. Both powerful women chief ministers defied all odds against them, including the anti-incumbency factor. But for the left, its poor showing in West Bengal took the shine off its victory in Kerala. Despite stitching up an unprecedented alliance with rival Congress, it was made to bite the dust in the state and was reduced to a poor third. Here too, the BJP made significant gains. Elated over the party's performance, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, "The poll results have demonstrated that the BJP's ideology of development and its tireless efforts to bring about change in the lives of common masses are being well accepted and supported by the people." The victories are also likely to reinforce BJP President Amit Shah's image as an election winner and provide a much-needed morale booster for the party in the run-up to next year's crucial polls in 7 states, including Uttar Pradesh and Punjab. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And in Kerala, after routing the UDF, the left is now battling the question of who will be the next chief minister. The party is expected to make a final decision soon. Reports say CPIM General Secretary Sitaram Yechuri will visit Kerala and meet the state committee on selection of the chief minister. CPIM has emerged as the biggest party in the Left Democratic Front with 58 seats out of the 91 that the front has won. Two names are in contention for the post of Chief Minister, V.S. Achyutanandan and Pinarayi Vijayan. Meanwhile, he will hand over his resignation to Governor, retired Chief Justice P. Sadashivam. The UDF bagged 46 seats in the 140-member assembly. Chandy completed his full 5-year term despite a wafted thin majority in the previous assembly elections.
History repeating itself in Kerala, a state which religiously dumps the ruling party in every election. The CPM-led LDF set to form the next government in the state. In the 140-member Kerala Assembly, LDF winning over 2/3 seats to wrest power from the ruling UDF. While the LDF made a virtual sweep in the strongholds of CPI-M and CPI, Kannur, Thrissur, Alappuzha and Kollam districts, it also managed to make inroads into UDF strongholds of Ernakulam and Malappuram.
LDF has won a big victory in Kerala, and the people have reposed confidence in the LDF because they didn't want the continuation of the corrupt and anti-people rule of the Oommen Chandy government.
Outgoing Chief Minister Oommen Chandy took the responsibility for the UDF's defeat. The defeat proving to be the outcome of a series of corruption scandals involving some of his top aides and ministers. Although Chandy scored a victory in his hometown of Puduppally, senior ministers like K. Babu, Shibu Baby John and K. Mohanan tasted defeats.
വിജയം എല്ലാം നേട്ടമാണ്, പരാജയം മുഴുവൻ പരാജയവുമാണ്. ജനാധിപത്യത്തിൽ അതിന് ന്യായീകരണം ഉണ്ടാവില്ല.
The LDF's win shifted the focus to the question of who will be the state's chief minister. Both 92-year-old V.S. Achyutanandan and party heavyweight Pinarayi Vijayan are keen to take on the mantle, putting CPM's central leadership in a tough spot. However, Achyutanandan said the party will decide the issue. While Achyutanandan won from Malampuzha in Palakkad district, Pinarayi Vijayan won from Dharmadam in Kannur.
Oommen Chandy അഴിമതി കൊടിയ അഴിമതിയും വിലക്കയറ്റവും നമ്മുടെ സഹോദരിമാരോടും അമ്മമാരോടും പൊതുവിൽ സ്ത്രീകളോടും കാട്ടിക്കൂട്ടിയ നീചമായ സമീപനങ്ങൾക്കും എതിരായ ശക്തമായ ഒരു തിരിച്ചടിയാണ് കേരള ജനത നൽകിയിട്ടുള്ളത്.
Meanwhile, the BJP created history winning Nemam. Its ally, the BJDS, however, couldn't produce a single win. The voter turnout in Kerala was a tad higher at 77.35% as compared to 75.12% in the previous elections.
Going by the rotation rule in the state, voters of Kerala have given the mandate to LDF after a gap of 5 years. The UDF lost the elections with its lead party Congress faring poorly, giving a lot of food for thought to its leaders for the next 5 years. With camera person D.K. Pandey, Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV, Thiruvananthapuram.
And let's also get you some reactions that came in after the results in Kerala.
That in Kerala there's been a very historic victory of the Left Democratic Front Alliance. We hail this victory and we think that this victory has been possible because the manner in which the LDF conducted its campaign amongst the people who have enthusiastically supported our positive program for the holistic development of Kerala.
Proud historical moment that the first time in the history of the Kerala, the NDA, particularly BJP, has got an entry in the Kerala Legislative Assembly.
Now the time has come to think of the future. We will be a constructive opposition. I'm very encouraged by the fact of the number of young people who have won their seats in the UDF, looking at some very bright young leaders who have a terrific future in the politics of the state, and they will be the nucleus not just of opposition, but of constructively thinking about tomorrow, because tomorrow is theirs and it will be ours again.
To neighbouring Tamil Nadu now, after her comeback to power, AIADMK Chief Jayalalitha has convened the legislature party meeting today. At the meeting, she is all set to be elected as leader of the legislature party. The election will set the stage for her to be sworn in as the Chief Minister for a record 6th time. The meeting is slated to be held at 5 p.m. today. The AIADMK has won over 130 constituencies, which include seats won by allies. Several of the sitting ministers, including her trusted aide and Finance Minister O. Pannirselvam, Industries Minister P. Thangamani, are among the prominent winners.
Barely an hour after counting of votes started on Thursday, it became clear that Chief Minister Jayalalitha's decision to go solo had paid off.
I thank the people of Tamil Nadu for continuing to repose their faith and trust in me, and I find that there are not enough words in the dictionary to adequately express my feelings of gratitude.
The full extent of it was revealed by noon. Jayalalitha became the first Chief Minister after MGR to retain power in the state for more than one term. The third front, led by DMDK Captain Vijaykanth, could not make inroads anywhere.
It is not only the success of the Dravidian parties, it is the failure of the opponents to get themselves united and to put a united face.
The actor-turned politician who campaigned with the tag of game changer was hard-pressed to even hold his own seat. Although it was the first time that Tamil Nadu saw a six-cornered contest, the main battle in the end turned out only to be between the AIADMK and the DMK combined. The so-called formidable third front could only manage a single-figure tally.
Exit polls did predict a DMK victory. That became the curse for DMK, because since all the exit poll predicted DMK is going to win, this forced the ruling government to spend more money.
The AIADMK alliance won an absolute majority in 2011, sweeping to power with 203 seats out of 234. The DMK alliance, that included the Congress and other regional parties, could only muster 31 then. This time, the DMK combined can take heart from the fact that it bagged 98 seats while keeping the AIADMK close to a simple majority figure. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And moving eastwards now, ruling Trinamool Congress, headed by Mamata Banerjee, put up an impressive show in West Bengal. Not only did it better its tally over the last elections, the party also ensured that the unprecedented left-Congress alliance experiment was not able to make any impact in the state.
Right from the word go on counting day, it was Didi all the way in West Bengal. From a tally of 184 seats in 2011, Mamata Banerjee's party leapfrogged to a whopping 200+ constituencies.
Every forceful, the pillars, they fought against us. But it is the magic of the people. At the end of the day, public is the masterminded people and they are the main men. Not masterminded, they are the men, they are the makers. That who will rule, who will not rule. It is the people are the first and last one.
The TMC's complete domination was evident even in seats like Karamhati, where arrested Sharda chit fund scam accused TMC MLA Madan Mitra fought the polls from behind bars.
I think it is the people. Development matters. Instead of all this debt, we paid 1,40,000 crores. What development we achieved within these 4 years, it is marvelous. It is really fabulous. And I think the people who knows the work, they know how the Bengal growth.
Significantly enough, the BJP gained leads in as many as 10 seats at stage of the counting. All the exit polls had given the Trinamool Congress a clear majority. But the alliance between the left front and Congress was hoped to make at least a dent, which however was not to be. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was among the first to congratulate Mamata on phone as her party emerged winner. In the build-up to the elections, the Trinamool was mired in allegations of corruption. But with the party winning an even bigger majority than even 2012, Mamata says her party has washed off the slur against it.
Opposition was united against Trinamool Congress, but it has been a massive win for Mamata Banerjee. With catchy slogan "Ma Mati Manush," Mamata reclaims her success. But this result is definitely a huge setback for left front. With camera person Anirban, this is Pranav Goswami, Rajya Sabha TV, Kolkata.
Well, the TMC emerged mightier than before with more than two-thirds majority this time around. Let's get you some of the political reactions that came in after that landslide victory.
इस बार की चुनाव थी केवल भाजपा फायदा में रहेगा, हम बोला था यहाँ नहीं देश में, उसी दिशा में हम बढ़ रहे हैं, लेकिन फायदा और ज़्यादा होना चाहिए था, नहीं हो पाया है.
No, I think it's always disappointing, Jokun Harbe, but I think at the same time you've got to respect people's verdict. People at verdict you've got to respect, and congratulations to Ashok Da. And hopefully as a party we have to regroup and start working much.
We respect the verdict of the people of Bengal, who have returned the Trinamool government with a big majority in the state. We will examine the reasons and review these results as far as the left front's poor performance in the state is concerned.
And in the northeast, outgoing Assam Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi will submit his resignation following the Congress's routing from the state. The Congress was decimated in the contest for the 126 seats in the assembly with just 26 seats in its kitty. That is a big loss in comparison to the 68 it achieved in the outgoing assembly. The BJP and its allies managed to back two-thirds majority in the upcoming assembly. Sarvanand Sonowal is all set now to be the next chief minister of the state.
The BJP's prayers answered in Assam, the party making inroads for the first time into a northeast state. BJP candidate Sarvanand Sonowal set to become chief minister.
We are all sincerely grateful to the people of Assam. It is the people of Assam who have brought these particular changes and have given an opportunity to BJP and allies partners to work for the overall growth of the state and also to take up the long-standing problem of the state of Assam.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulating Sonowal, terming the win exceptional, historic and phenomenal. The BJP's decision to ally with the AGP paying dividends. The Congress, on the other hand, suffering another electoral setback with the end of the 15-year rule of Tarun Gogoi. Tarun Gogoi, who has ruled out earlier of any possibility of forming a secular third front to keep the BJP at bay, was confident he will return to power for a fourth term. After the results, Gogoi is saying his party will play the role of a constructive opposition.
It is definitely, with all humbleness, we accept the verdict of the people of Assam. People of Assam, they desire that this time administration or the government, BJP on all alliance, they should rule the states. And the people are also expecting. People wanted a lot of changes for development, better days, acha din.
Another big setback was AIUDF leader Badruddin Ajmal, who has lost by a margin of over 20,000 votes to his Congress opponent from South Salmara seat. Ajmal has blamed the Congress for a split in what he says is the secular vote.
असम में सबसे पहले कोशिश ये हुई कांग्रेस, यूडीएफ, बीपीएफ, एजीपी मिलकर एक महागठबंधन हो जाए, लेकिन इसको कांग्रेस वालों ने बिल्कुल नहीं माना और मैंने इलेक्शन में बार-बार कहा, डेली कहा कि कांग्रेस के अंदर बीजेपी आरएसएस के लोग बैठे हुए हैं और वो आरएसएस के लोग बीजेपी को जिताना चाहते हैं.
The task for the NDA, however, is cut out. The BJP has promised a crackdown on illegal migrants and sealing of the Indo-Bangladesh border. With the voters tilting towards the alliance, the victory comes wrapped in a long list of expectations.
BJP has given credit to PM Modi and party president Amit Shah for this historic Assam win. But this is also true that this time BJP has learnt a lot from the Bihar and Delhi Assembly elections. That's why it gave more importance to local leadership in this Assam election. In Guwahati, with cameraman Muniz Bhalla, this is Panchanan Mishra for Rajya Sabha TV.
And it was after 15 years that the Congress rule in Assam came to an end, with people having voted for the BJP and its allies against the Congress and the AIUDF. Let's also play out a few reactions coming in from Assam.
I was all along expecting 80+ seat for the BJP, and in fact I have spoken about that, and it has come out to be true, and I am very happy.
Congratulations to Sarbanda Sonowal and all the BJP Karyakartas in Assam. They've done a lot of hard work coming from what they were last time in elections. Also, congratulations to the people of Assam for giving a very clear verdict, for being very responsible voters.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी को भी इतना खुश होने की आवश्यकता नहीं है. केवल असम में जहाँ की हमारे एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण नेता हमसे बाहर चले गए और बोडो जो हमारे साथ में रहे सरकार में और 15 साल के एंटी इनकम्बेंसी की वजह से हम लोग सरकार नहीं बना पाए.
And finally, moving to the Union Territory of Puducherry, N. Rangasamy resigned as the Chief Minister of the Union Territory after his AINRC was defeated in the Assembly elections. Rangasamy handed over his resignation letter to Lieutenant Governor A.K. Singh at the Rajnivas. In a consolation win for the Congress, it along with the DMK emerged as the winner in the elections, bagging 17 seats in the 30-member Assembly. The AINRC won only 8 seats. The Congress avenged its defeat in the 2011 elections at the hands of AINRC founder N. Rangasamy, who broke away from the National Party to form his own outfit and drove it to power Congress, which contested 21 seats, won in 15 seats. DMK emerged successful in 2 segments, giving the combine a clear majority as it buckled initial trends. In fact, it bucked initial trends of a close fight with the AINRC when counting of the votes polled in the 16th May Assembly election was taken up. The AIA-DMK, which contested the elections on its own, won 4 seats. And shifting focus to some other news now. Interpol has issued a red corner notice against Pakistan-based handler of Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist Shahid Latif in connection with the Pathankot attack. Another request for a red corner notice has been issued against Kashif Jan. The two are alleged to be the handlers of the Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists who had infiltrated into India in January this year. The requests were made by the NIA, which is probing the Pathankot attack case. Earlier, the Interpol this week issued a red corner notice against Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Maulana Masood Azhar and also his brother Abdul Rauf in connection with the same attack on the strategic Indian Air Force airbase. Meanwhile, the Indian Army has rejected Pakistan's allegation of an insider's role in the terrorist attack on the Pathankot airbase and said it was planned and sponsored from across the border. The NIA had also ruled out the role of an insider. 7 security personnel, remember, besides 4 terrorists, were killed in the attack carried out by Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists inside the Pathankot airbase earlier this year. And the Indian Meteorological Department has predicted heavy rains in Andhra Pradesh and eastern Odisha in the next 12 hours. The cyclonic storm has been formed in Andhra Pradesh in view of deep depression over the Bay of Bengal and will now move towards Odisha. The coastal cities of Odisha are likely to receive heavy rainfall in the next 24 to 48 hours. The wind speed in Odisha coast is likely to remain within 100 kilometers per hour. Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik held a review meeting with IMD Director and other senior officials to discuss measures to be taken. For now, 10 teams of the Odisha Disaster Rapid Action Force and fire service personnel have been asked to be ready for operation. Odisha's fishermen have also been warned from venturing out into the sea in view of the extreme weather. Meanwhile, coastal regions of Andhra Pradesh have been experiencing heavy rainfall. Authorities in coastal Andhra Pradesh are on alert as rains continue to lash the state under the impact of cyclonic storm Roanu over the Bay of Bengal.
Cyclonic storm Roanu has moved to 15 km per hour in last 6 hours in the direction of north-northeastward, and it is likely to move north-northeastwards next 12 hours along Andhra Pradesh coast, and tonight it may be further intensified into severe cyclonic storm.
Over to some international news now. A massive search is underway for the wreckage of an Egypt airplane
that plunged into the Mediterranean with 66 people on board in what the Egyptian authorities said may have been an act of terrorism. The Airbus A320 from Paris to Cairo went missing over the eastern Mediterranean soon after entering the Egyptian airspace.
These were the scenes at the check-in desk at the Charles de Gaulle airport as the news emerged this morning. The Egypt Air flight took off from here early Thursday. The airline said there were 66 passengers, including 3 children, as well as 10 crew members on board flight MS-804. The Airbus A320 was traveling from Paris to Cairo. It disappeared from the radar about 10 miles after entering the Egyptian airspace above the Mediterranean Sea. At a press conference in Cairo, Egyptian Civil Aviation Minister Sherif Fati said there had been no known security issues with either the aircraft or any of the passengers, but further checks were needed.
آخر كونتاكت حصل ما بين الطيارة وما بين برج المراقبة كان الساعة حوالي 2:30 صباحا، وبعد كده الطيارة فقدت على الرادارات. في حوالي الساعة 52 دقيقة حصل شوية محاولات لمعاودة الاتصال بيها، بس 52 دقيقة تأكد إن إحنا مش قادرين نتصل بالطائرة.
Fadi stressed it was too early to rule out either terrorism or technical failure, but added it was likely the plane was brought down by a terrorist attack.
The situation may point, and I say may because I don't want to go to speculations and I don't want to go to assumptions like others, but if you analyze the situation properly, the possibility of having a different action or having a terror attack is higher than the possibility of having a technical.
Both Egypt and Greece dispatched aircraft and naval vessels on a major search mission. They were expected to be joined by French teams, while the US will send a surveillance plane to help with the operation. The search operation is focused on an area near the Greek island of Karapathos.
U.S. national security and aviation experts have been in touch with their counterparts in France and Egypt to offer assistance. Many of you all have probably also seen the announcement from the Department of Defense that the United States Navy is working to deploy a P-3 Orion aircraft to provide support for the search of the missing jetliner.
NATO's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg also offered condolences, saying the alliance was on standby and ready if requested to assist in the search operation.
I know that there are national search and rescue efforts ongoing, and that France and Egypt have agreed to cooperate and to work closer together investigating what happened.
The tragedy raised fears of a repeat of the bombing of a Russian passenger jet by the Islamic State jihadist group over Egypt last October that killed all 224 people on board. Ultra-hardline Islamists have targeted airports, airliners and tourist sites in Europe, Egypt, Tunisia and other Middle Eastern countries over the past few years. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And that's all from us in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.